Yes,
I'm here in the motion to quash for plaintiff. Sorry about that, Mr. Atala.
it's okay. It's been a couple of those. William Atala here on behalf of the defendant Compton for the motion to quash.
All right,
And
who filed?
Callie Haley, sorry.
Go ahead, Ms. Atala.
Callie Haley here today on behalf of Defendant Farm Bureau.
All right, great. Anyone else here on it? All right, who filed the motion to quash?
That would be us, Your Honor.
All right, please proceed.
Thank you, Judge. We're here on a motion to quash. I'd like to start by saying up front that we are more than amenable to provide the typical 30 minutes before, 30 minutes after the accident for usual phone records. We're not really moving to quash that. There's just a few items here that we think are outside the scope of what's relevant and should be produced in this case.
Okay.
There doesn't appear to be any sort of time limit on these requests. And so the first thing that we'd like to quash is any sort of requests outside of the 30 minutes before and after the accident for all of the requests, because there doesn't appear to be any time limit. And then there was item number 2, which asks for specialized location records for all call, text, and data connections. We don't think that that's a relevant request at all. There's really no dispute as to where the location of the parties were. We were at the scene. That's been stipulated.
Scott, you wanted a record. Can you slow down a bit, please?
Yes, thank you. And so we don't find that the location information is really relevant or necessary in this case. It was a rear end accident. The parties have stipulated that they were there, and the location doesn't really offer anything in this case or is not really relevant. Item number 3 asks for subscriber detail information for the number of defendant Compton, as well as any other numbers on the account. We especially find that all of the other numbers on the account are wholly irrelevant to this lawsuit, and the request should be quashed as to them, as well as the remaining subscriber detail information. That's all but any sort of...
I'm starting to lose track, so let's stop you there, because I don't want to get so far ahead that I can't remember. And we have a lot of cases on the docket today. So let's go back. Let's start with the 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after. Why can't we limit it to that, folks?
I'm okay with 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after. And there is a time limit in there. It's broader than that, but I'm perfectly fine with 30 before and 30 after.
All right. So let's do that then. And you all make notes of this. I'm not making notes of this. Whoever's the scrivener, make notes of it and put it in the order. It's going to be limited then to 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after. All right, Mr. Diamond, what's the next one here? The location services, where are we with that?
Yeah, so if I can just say briefly, Judge, 20 years ago, I would have been fine with call and text data for 30 before and after. Now people are making calls on apps like WhatsApp, Signal, Messenger for Facebook, and those don't show up on the typical call logs.
Yeah,
And
I
so
understand that.
all 4 of these will capture that. I'm okay with cutting out any other numbers on the account. He brought that up, and that's kind of our standard ask, but I'm okay with cutting that out. But the rest of that information captures those other apps, whereas we would completely miss that. And I'll just say one other thing. Yes, it's a rear end accident, but he hit our client at almost full speed, which tells me that he was looking down or not paying attention.
Well, we don't know. But what I think you're saying is right. The police have started actually having some difficulty with people calling on apps because it doesn't record. So let's, Mr. Atala, can we get that information to him that would cover any type of app information 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after?
Oh, definitely, Judge. And we kind of assumed that was included in light item 1, which was all call data and network usage. And so network usage would be those sort of voice over IP calls through the apps. But we were taking issue specifically with location data because the location of our client is not in dispute at all. And so where the client was at the time of the accident is not really relevant. So we're happy to produce all the sort of network usage that shows use of apps and other sort of calling or communication apps. But just the location we find is overbroad here.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes, I'd like to. So here's my problem is at trial, I've got to authenticate and get this in. If I put evidence up that, hey, this shows you're using this app, well, I wasn't on that app, the location data will pair that up at the scene. And if we already know that he's saying that he's at the scene, that location isn't really private information. It's just a way for me to say, well, yes, you're using WhatsApp, and yes, that is linked to this particular location, so that if there's ever anybody saying I'm not using this stuff, we can link it up with that location. That's the only reason that's there. And I've had people fight that. So that's why that's there.
Mr. Atala, can we get that? It doesn't sound like it's that great that shakes. It does sound like it would give him kind of a CYA with his client if this goes to trial. Or any reason why we couldn't just provide that to him?
No, Your Honor, that should be fine.
All right, let's go on and do that then too. Please, you all keep track of this because I'm not keeping track of this. And you've got to have to get me in order like by the close of business today. So keep track. All right, what else? Let's see. We talked about the call data, the apps, the location, and then what was the next one, Mr. Atala?
I think Mr. Diamond already said that they're fine with without pursuing the subscriber detail information for this number as well as any other numbers on the account. I think they were
Okay.
that if I
Put
understand
that in the order too, the subscriber detail information. Okay.
That's fine.
All right. And then what else is left, Mr. Atala?
Last was the carrier key related to call detail, text messages, data connections, IP logs. We found that was kind of encompassed in the first request as well, of which calls were made and put out, text messages received and sent, and data connections and all that. So we felt like a second line item that just kind of broadened it for without really encompassing extra information. We thought it just kind of leaves us liable to, oh, you didn't provide us with this or that,
Right.
and thought we'd just keep it a clean request for records.
No, I understand. So what he's saying is, look, I don't want to get down to trial and have them going, well, we asked for this thing and, whatever. So, Mr. Diamond, what's your response to that one?
I do agree that it is a little bit, or maybe duplicative of number one, but that's kind of an argument as to why we should be able to get it. It's just making sure that that particular data linked with all call data is provided. So, I mean, we can, as long as we can agree that that is included in number one, I'm fine with, I guess, cutting that particular one. But I do want, it says here, like, related to call detail, text messages, data connections. And so those are things that I think would be included in one. I think it's just an attempt to make sure that we get everything. So as long as we get that type of information that links it, however we want to word that, I'm fine.
And you all work that at Mr. Atala?
Last thing I'd like to add, Judge, is that if we're getting the carrier key information, which includes the SIM card and the encryption data to prove that it's him, I don't see why we would still need location data on top of that, because those are, it seems like duplicative proving up, and I would be happy to provide the carrier key and all that if we don't need to provide locate. But it seems like we're offering up a lot of duplicative means of proving this up, when the carrier key or the location alone should suffice to prove up the records, which we are going to be producing.
Mr. Diamond?
I mean, I don't know if I agree with that. The location is going to pin him to that location, and the carrier key.
Provide both. I want you to provide the carrier key and the location both, okay?
Okay.
Understood,
All right,
Judge.
anything else, have we gotten through it all?
That's it, Judge.
Very good. All right, so here's my order. It is 10:20 right now. Can you all possibly get that order ready for me today and get it here by 4:30 this afternoon?
Yes, Your Honor.
We can.
Send it to 455.submission@traviscountytx.gov. Again, 455.submission, singular, at traviscountytx.gov. Not TEX, not Texas, just traviscountytx.gov. Put in the subject line, put HO, standing for hearing order, and then the cause number, and then attach it. And that way, we'll have it. And I do want them submitted today by 4:30. That would give me time potentially to get it signed. You can get it to me earlier. Get it signed and get it filed. And that way we don't have one of those. And I know you all would never do this, but very occasionally we have people come in on compels. They don't get me an order, and then we don't remember. And then we come back, 3 weeks later trying to remember our good work. So you all get that to me today, and I will lickety split, get it signed for you and get on file. Okay?
Great. Mr. Atala, can I give you my cell number real quick?
Yes, of course.
We haven't talked. 713.
All right, I'll be in touch.
All right, gentlemen,
Thank
you
you.
all stay in contact. I really do like telephone calls because I think sometimes you can resolve some of these things, and we hope that gets you on a good, smooth path to moving this case forward. All right?
Thank
Yes,
you, Your Honor.
thank you.
All right, thank you. It's a pleasure seeing you all. Have a wonderful day. All right, Ms.
Thank you, Judge.
Bondo, are you here waiting for Mr. Luke Dow?
Yes, Your Honor. Missy Bondo is the guardian for two minors. I'll approve up with Mr. Dow.
All right. I suspect Mr. Dow is currently in Judge Meacham's court. So I think he's on every single other case we have today. If someone tells me he's not, I'm happy to take you up now, but I think we have to wait for him.
I think that's correct, Your Honor.
Yeah. All right, folks, let's have a little, I think by the looks of that chair and the paint color that he's actually here at the courthouse. I think they set him up in a conference room. So, if someone has his number, let him know to come back as soon as that hearing is over, because I sure want to get the rest of this docket taken care of. Maybe Mr. Nigiri, maybe reach out to Ms. Hewitt and see if she can let us know or has any idea how much longer Judge Meacham's going to be with Mr. Dow before he comes back. Because I don't want to excuse all these witnesses. We might just hang out here till he comes back, unless someone needs to take a quick restroom break or something. But Mr. LaRue, Mr. Giddy, if one of you would please reach out to Judge Meacham's court and see if they can anticipate how much longer it'll be till Mr. Dow returns. We've reached out to him. Mr. Giddy has reached out to him, so let's wait and see. But I think right now you all just don't leave. Don't leave, because we've got quite a bit of business to conduct, and you all took some work and some time and some money to get on the docket today. So let's let you have your time. I just need Mr. Dow to come back, and we have reached out. So as soon as we get an estimate from Judge Meacham's court, I'll let you know. But please stay in earshot, at least of the court, okay? And you'll hear me come on and say, here's how much time you have. But if you all need to do other things, you need to, use the restroom, to get a drink of water, review another document, that's fine by me. I just don't want you to leave the presence of the Zoom courtroom, okay? All right. And remember, I can hear you if you talk. That's not muted. So if you, talk about, gee, Judge Eiserloh, she's so mean, so hard, so difficult to be with. Don't say that because it'll hurt my feelings. So make sure that you're muted before you talk about me, okay?
Judge Eiserloh,
Hello, Mr. Dow.
I am so sorry. They were taking a break, and so I thought I was about to get called, but I've not been called yet.
Well, humorously, we saw Judge Meacham in the hall when I had just finished my first morning case, which was in person. And she said, please, pretty please take Mr. Dow first. And so we walked in here to do that, but you weren't here. So we took the one case that didn't have to do with you. It was a motion to compel. So now everything else, this is now the Luke Dow show because
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's no problem.
I was there at 9 though, Judge.
I'm sure you were. We were just in person.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We have multiple ways we do our docket. And so we had an hour-long, very hotly contested summary judgment hearing in person. And I finally told them, you all are acting like you have all the time, but you don't. So, okay, so we're going to go on then and move to our first case involving Mr. Dow.
Wait, Your Honor. What I was saying is they're not done with me quite yet.
Okay.
I was just coming to update you.
So what would you like for us to do, Mr. Dow? You want us to wait for you in Judge Meacham's court, or do you want to try to get one or two knocked out?
Let me go ask her staff real quick, and we can maybe get one out.
All right, thank you.
Judge, if you want to knock one out, none of the staff was out there, and what we thought was going to be a 10-minute break is pushing about 30 now. So if you want to go ahead and knock one out, and then I can do my thing. And again, I really apologize that this worked out.
It's just one of those things. We would have set the order differently had we known. It's just one of those things. So let's start with the first one then, which is this is Jaime Fuentes and Julia Rodriguez versus Eric Gonzalez, and then Alberto Maldonado and Saturina Ramirez. We're here on a motion to approve settlement. May I please have announcements?
Jaime Fuentes.
Hello, Mr. Fuentes. Who else is here on this case?
James Fegan here for the plaintiff.
All right, very good. Anyone else?
Lauren Robbins for the defendants.
All right, very good. All right, anyone else here on this case? Mr. Dow.
Luke Dow, guardian ad litem.
All right, very good. How do you all wish to proceed most expeditiously?
We filed affidavits on this one, but I can still get testimony if you'd like.
Let's put a smidgen of testimony in the record so I can hear it.
Sure. I can either call Julia Rodriguez or Mr. Fuentes.
Please raise your right hand.
Okay.
You hereby solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you shall give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you may proceed, Mr. Dow.
Sir, will you state your name, please?
Jaime Fuentes.
Mr. Fuentes, you are Jaden Fuentes' father, correct?
Yes, sir.
And he was involved in an accident when he was 12 years old.
Yes.
The accident occurred on June 7th, 2023.
Yes.
My understanding is that he was at his grandmother's house outside. He went out into the street to catch a ball. And while he was out there, his left foot got run over by a car driven by the defendant.
Yes.
He went to Dell Children's and was discharged. Later had an MRI, showed some contusions, correct?
Yes.
He followed up with a Dr. Long.
Yes.
And my understanding from the records and from talking to his mother is that he's made a full 100% recovery now. Is that accurate?
Yes, he is, but he's always playing football. He's doing summer football, and he's always still complaining about his knee hurting, but I don't know if that's it or what it is, but hopefully that's not the case.
Okay. Well, in any event, you agreed to settle his case for $20,000,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And you understand that after the deduction of attorney's fees, case expenses, and a few reduced medical providers, Jaden is going to net $9,955.73.
Yes, sir.
And that if approved, we're going to put his funds into the registry of the court, earn some interest, and then when he turns 18, he'll be able to get his money out.
Okay. My son did ask, was there any chance that he could get something, and then the rest when he turns 18, or that's not possible?
Well, that's a question for the judge. That's
Okay.
I would say that's certainly not the norm.
Okay.
Now, and before you get to that, you understand that by settling the case, you're waiving not only your right, but Jaden's right to go to trial in the case.
Yes, sir.
And that if Judge Eiserloh approves this, the case will be over and can't be unopened. He can't get any more money out of this.
Correct.
All right. And knowing all of that, you believe the settlement's in Jaden's best interest?
Yes, sir.
And you're asking the court to approve what we've laid out this morning?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions for this witness?
No, Judge.
Any other questions? All right. Mr. Fuentes, we don't typically take money out now. We wait till the child is 18 because he can't make that decision. And I can't if I did that for you, everyone would want to do that. Now, I'm not saying that you are the parent who would do this, but there are some parents out there who would take a younger child, take the money and use the money for their own good. And you would never do that. And I hate to put that around you because that's not the way you are. But some parents would. So no, I can't order that. The settlement or its order is approved. You all, if you need me to sign off on it, send it to 455.submission@traviscountytx.gov. Put in the subject line, put HO for hearing order and the cause number. Okay. All right. Very good. If you're here on this case and you don't have any other cases, you may be excused. Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Dow, where are we? Can we keep going?
Let me peek in there, and if she's not on the bench, we can knock out another one.
Okay.
Okay, let's knock out another one.
Let's do it. Okay, we are now on to the next case. Naomi Ubando versus Colton Guinness. We're here on a merits hearing, remote. May I please have announcements? Who is here on this case?
Full gum on behalf of the plaintiffs, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Gunn. Who else is here?
Libby Simmons on behalf of the defendant, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Simmons. All right, you all may proceed.
Your Honor, just to give you a little bit of background, this is a friendly suit involving two minors, Luke and Haven.
Okay.
Their mother, Victoria Salinas, unfortunately died in a car crash back on March 21st of this year.
I'm sorry.
She was in a car. She was a passenger in a car, and her driver was at fault. There are 3 wrongful death beneficiaries total.
Oh.
The first one is Naomi Ubando, who is Miss Salinas' mother, and she's the next friend to these kiddos.
All right.
and then obviously the two kids. And unfortunately, there's $30,000 policy to split up, and mom's getting 10%, and then the minors are splitting they're getting 45% each.
All right. Well, it sounds like the best we can do. I wish there was some more money there.
Me too.
All right. Very good. All right. Mr. Dow, do you have any questions for anyone today, or?
Your Honor, I'd get a couple of questions into Ms. Ubando if I could.
Ms. Ubando, please raise your right hand. Do you hereby solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you shall give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, I do.
All right. Very good. Mr. Dow, you may proceed.
Thank you. Ma'am, will you state your name, please?
Naomi Ubando.
Ms. Ubando, and I know this is tough, I'm sorry to talk about. Victoria Salinas was your daughter, correct?
Yes, she was.
And she passed away in a car crash that happened March 21st of 24.
Yes.
She had two minor children, correct?
Yes, she did.
All right. The insurance company for the at-fault driver has tendered their full policy limits, which is $30,000. Is that correct?
Yes, sorry.
It's okay. The agreement that was reached is that you're going to, of the net proceeds, you're going to take 10%, and then Luke is going to take 45%, and Haven is going to take 45%.
That's correct.
Okay. And you understand that after the deduction of attorney's fees and case expenses from that $30,000, the net of that is $19,717.29.
Yes.
Meaning that both Luke and Haven will both net $8,872.78.
Yes.
You okay?
Yeah, sorry.
No, don't be. You had a chance to review some structured settlement options for both Luke and Haven?
I did.
Okay.
Yes.
And you chose structures for both of them that are through Mutual of Omaha, correct?
Yes.
And they each pay out at age 18, 21, and then a final lump sum when they turn 25.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Ubanda, you understand that you could reject this settlement offer and go forward and try a case against the guy who was driving and who was at fault, correct?
I do understand that, but I don't feel the babies should be put through much more than they already have lost.
Yeah. You understand that if Judge Eiserloh approves this today, that will end it for good, and neither you, Luke, nor Haven can come back and ask for more money.
Yes, I do.
And it almost feels weird to say this, but it's under these circumstances, do you believe that the settlement is in the kid's best interest?
Yes.
It's certainly not fair, but it's about the best we can do. So
I know. And I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much.
Ms. Ubando, thank you very much. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Dow. Mr. Gum, any questions for this witness?
I have no questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Simmons?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Very good. The settlement is approved. Mr. Dow, as I said in the previous case, if you send it over to 455.submission@traviscountytx.gov and put HO in front of the cause number, we'll get it signed for you all ASAP. Okay, and we'll get it filed.
We'll do that.
Rondo, my deepest condolences to you and your family at this very tragic time. I'm so very sorry about what happened to your family, and please know that you have my prayers and my heartfelt wishes for something that looks better in the future than where you are now. Okay.
Thank you so much, Judge.
All right. If you're here on this case, you may be excused.
Your Honor, and if you're okay, I'll pop my head in one more time, and if she's
no need. They reached out. They're waiting for you. We
okay.
Here.
I'll be right back.
Okay? You don't need to go anywhere. They know that you're with me now. The court reached out to me.
Oh, so we can finish.
We can finish, and then you
okay.
can do your next thing. Okay.
Okay. Sorry about
So
that.
I think there's just one more case on the docket this morning,
That's true.
and this is Angelica Cardena versus Russell Richards. We're here on a friend prove up suit. May I please have announcements?
Cole Gum on behalf of the plaintiff.
All right.
Lillian Forrest, attorney for the defendant.
All right. Very good. I do see that we have an interpreter here. Are we going to need the interpreter?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ms. Swear and the interpreter, please raise your right hand. Thank you, Mr. Salazar. All right. Very good. And you may, I don't know how you all wish to proceed, but Mr. Dow, you're here as the ad litem.
I am, Your Honor, and I'm happy to give you a little walkthrough and then ask some questions of Mom.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Your Honor, we're here, Lou minor, 8 years old. On March 9th of this year, she went over to a friend's house. As the friend was opening the front door, the dog got out of the house, knocked her down, and bit her kind of in the right armpit on the right lat, that area of the back. She was taken to Dell Children's, got 4 stitches, returned to Dell about a week later to have the stitches removed and the wound cleaned. Physically, she's fine. There's a little bit of visible scarring, but it's not on her face. It's in an area that's not totally visible. The case settled for the full homeowner's policy limits of $100,000. And the net's definitely big enough that we've done a structured settlement for this young lady.
Thank you for that information. Does anyone else have anything to add to the explanation Mr. Dow just gave me?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Dow, do you have any questions for a witness?
I do, Your Honor. If I could call Angelica Cadena as a witness.
All right. I'm not sure that we have, Mr. LaRue, are we set up correctly for this, for working with the translator? Do I need to adjust settings on the Zoom?
It's not set up, Judge.
Okay, let's go on and do that then real quick. You may proceed.
Ma'am, will you state your name, please?
Oh, let me raise.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Miss Angelica.
Angelica Cadena.
All right.
You are the mother of Luz.
Sí.
Ricardo, I think we're supposed to have that back as yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, do I need to? I got it. Sorry. Okay. Luz was involved in an incident on March the 9th, 2024.
No escucho, no la escucho.
Could you please instruct her to switch to the Spanish channel?
Mr. Salazar, if you, on your interpretation, select original audio, that should be able allow you to communicate with her and get her to switch to the Spanish channel.
Thank you, Mr. LaRue. May have just lost her. Oh, she's still on, but oh, now there she is. We could see her camera on, but now she's back. Okay. Her camera was off. Now it's back on.
Yeah, she just messaged my paralegal that she can't hear the interpreter.
Okay. Well, let's see. Mr. LaRue, do you have any ideas how we might fix this problem?
Judge, it's possible if we can turn off the channel and just do the interpretation concurrently. That might be best, so she doesn't have to select a new channel.
Yeah, that might be helping her a little bit. Let's give that a try. So I'm going to go off to original audio. Let's all do that, and then we'll just do the interpretation live. Okay?
Sí.
All right.
Yes.
Good. Let's do that. All right. All right.
Bien, lo vamos a hacer así ahora.
Mr. Dow, you may proceed. Ask some questions to Miss Angelica. Okay?
Ma'am, Luz was involved in an incident on March 9th, 2024.
Sí.
Yes.
She had gone over to a friend's home, and as the friend opened the front door, the dog got out, knocked her down, and bit her.
Sí.
Yes.
And the bite happened kind of in the right armpit area.
Sí.
Yes.
She was taken to Dell Children's Hospital and she got 4 stitches there.
Sí.
Yes.
She returned to Dell about a week later to get the wound cleaned and have the stitches removed.
Así es.
That's right.
My understanding is that Luz is doing well now.
Sí.
Yes.
Sometimes the area where she was bitten kind of itches, but otherwise she's doing okay.
Sí, así es.
Yes, that's right.
You have agreed to settle with the homeowner's insurance company for their limits of $100,000.
Sí.
Yes.
And after attorney's fees and case expenses are taken out, Luz will net $66,320.12.
Yes.
You have opted to put Luz's money into a structured settlement with United of Omaha Life.
Así es.
That's right.
And that will pay her out lump sums at age 18, 21, 25, and 30.
Sí.
Yes.
And once those payments are made, that $66,000 will turn into almost $146,000.
Okay.
Okay.
You understand that you don't have to accept this policy limits offer. You could move to go to trial.
Sí.
Yes.
By settling, you're agreeing to waive that right to go to trial.
Okay.
Okay.
And you're doing that because you believe that this settlement is in your daughter's best interest.
Okay. Sí.
Okay. Yes.
And you're asking the court to approve it.
Y usted le está pidiendo al juzgado que lo apruebe.
Sí.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions for this witness?
No questions, Your Honor.
No questions, Your Honor.
Very good. The settlement is approved. If you would please send it to my inbox today, submission 455.submission, singular, at traviscountytx.gov. In the subject line, write HO for hearing order and the cause number. We'll get that signed as soon as possible. Ms. Cadena, my sympathies for what's happened to Luz. I'm glad that she's feeling better. That must have been very frightening to have the dog attack her like that.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
All right, everyone. Thank you for your thoughtful presentations this morning. You may be excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your
That
Honor.
concludes the morning
Thank you.
docket at the 455th Civil District Court. We are now